Now that we can navigate around with PowerTeacher Pro, we're going to learn how to organize and do some basic settings so that you can successfully utilize the gradebook this year. So we're going to start out with categories. We're going to go over here to the A+ setting over here, right here, and select that. And we're going to go down to the third one that says categories. Now, what I have are the basic categories that we've set up as a district. You can use these just as they are. Doesn't matter if you want to use these, you can choose other ones. I would encourage you to work with your PLC team to have common categories. We're not going to be using these for grading purposes. These are for organizational purposes within your gradebook. So you can use these. If you choose not to use these, you can also edit this. Let's say I don't want to use projects, I can click on this little edit button and I can change it to inactive. If I change that to inactive, I hit save. It'll no longer show as my possible categories just from a cleanup standpoint. If I decide later on I want to see those, I can go back to the show inactive box right here and choose that, and it'll pop it right back up. And I can make it part of my grading again. So I can go and edit that and I can make it active. And there it is. It's part of my gradebook again. If I want more than these four and I have something special I want to use, I can go right over here to the create button. We learned about the create button in the last video. I'm going to go right here to this create button right here. And I'm going to go right down to category. And so I can select the classes I want to apply it to. So I can give this new one, and I want to call it homework. So I'll call it homework. I can pick a different color than I have other places. So they're not using green right now. So I'm going to make it green. Select the classes that I want to use it with. So I can choose all of my classes. I can choose just one of the classes. I can make a description if you want to. That's not required. What's required is that you give it a name and that you give it a color, and then I hit save, and there it is right there. So I've now added and made active one of my new categories. Again, I can choose how I do that later. I can add them, I can delete them. We're not going to be using those for the purpose of calculating a grade in kindergarten through sixth grade. That's very important, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, these are more to organize your grade book, not in using the calculations. So the next place we're going to go is we're going to go all the way down to the bottom to the settings box. And right here where it says settings, the little gear in the bottom left. And from there, we're going to walk our way down all of these. So we're going to start with the display settings. So the display is really just what it says, what we're going to display and when, how we want to organize this. Some of these are very specific to you. You can make choices. It's set up right now to sort classes by period and by day. You can do it by section number or course number. Period day is default. It's probably the easiest. It'll go from homeroom to English to math to history to science for most of you. So that's just a standard way to organize it. The traditional grades, we can leave these selected, although most of our grades we're going to be using very specific standard grades. Show standard pages and links, we want to make sure that's checked. It should be by default. Show standards on assignments, we want to have that checked. And then this box right here, this is important. We have to change this. So where it says auto calculate assignment centered scores. Right now it says new assignment start unchecked. We want to change that to new assignment start checked. Again, new assignment start checked. That's going to be important for you, and I'll show you that on the next video series, but this will save you a step as you're creating assignments throughout the year. And then navigation order, we're going to recommend that you change this order from traditional standards to standards traditional. Again, that's just because of the way we've organized the gradebook and the report card. This will help you as you navigate. And then the rest of this really gets into just your personal preferences. So as you display students' names, it's set up last first. You can do it last first middle. You can set out how you want things to be organized in your gradebook. Sort students, how you want them sorted. And then custom starting page. Again, this is personal preference. You can say, I want to start on the assignment list. I want to start on the score sheet that I use to grade kids every day. I want to start someplace else. You can start wherever you want. I'm going to leave it at the assignment list for right now. When you're done with this page, we're going to have you hit save right here down in this bottom corner. You always want to save your work. So we'll save that. And so now I've done my basic settings, and everything will be set up as we're ready to start grading in the display parts. So that's the display. As we come down, the next one is class descriptors. Class descriptors are really more if you are going to be working with a group of teachers in your grade level and you all want to be co-teachers on each other's class. Let's say there's 3 fourth grade teachers and you want to share that workload together. This is something that happened during our pilot process. It's easy to do within your school site. But what happens is you'll have 3 English classes, 3 math classes, 3 science classes. And unless you come in here under the class descriptors and change these names, you'll have to try to figure out and guess which one you're grading. So this makes it easier to say custom class name. You can change it from ELA first. I can say ELA and then teacher name so that each one is set up and give it a unique name so that you can come down here and save that. Again, that's for custom naming those classes. It doesn't change anything in the main record or what goes on the report card. This is strictly for your gradebook so that you can help navigate if you are doing co-teaching within your grade level. So again, not a required thing at all, just a convenient way for you if you are working on co-teaching. And then your class grade scales, we're going to look right here. They should all be set to standards, elementary standards averaging. That's predetermined. Here is the grade scale and the cutoff that was predetermined based on previous grade scales and Illuminate. So we haven't really changed anything. We've just standardized it within your grade books. So all that is set. And everything else we need you to leave completely alone. We don't want to change anything else within the gradebook so that we can make sure the calculations happen appropriately. And that's all we have for settings at this point. So thank you very much for listening.